I have adopted at the university 12 emanations of the Divine Mother, which are the basis of this creation, and we are part of the creation. So, all these 12 core values we think is very important to be successful in life, irrespective of station in life. And also, these are the qualities that most successful leader has. The difference is that most successful leaders, or all of us, in varying degrees, practice these values without being conscious. In varying degrees, we practice this. If you look at it, each one in some varying degrees we practice. So we have adopted this as a core values. Value-based education is this. If we have this, then we are now participating in evolutionary process, invoking the higher power and force to invoke and help us also to live this life as a human being. So each one I can testify because I'm a very successful businessman. But I never knew what made me successful till I probed into these values and I see that almost all of them I was required or I was practicing unknowingly. And I felt that that's what helped me. So now, at the Oro University, we are trying to provide this introduction to the student so they can consciously develop while they are at the university campus. At least we are letting them know the vocabulary, what it represents, and how it can be understood, be aware, and hopefully they will develop and practice in their life after they finish their degree. Because all these values are very, very important to make our life fuller, enriching, and fulfilling. So, all of them are also related to physical, vital, mental, spiritual, because we are using those as a venue to enact, practice, test, validate all these values. So each one we use as a code of conduct, and each one applicable to not student only, but everybody, campus, faculty, staff, everybody, including promoter like me. Each one has to develop this to make it success. So now I'm going to explain to you this. This is a living symbol of our university, which represent vision, mission, and core values. The inner four petal represents, now I'm telling you as an educational institute, if I'm explaining to a parent, how would I explain this thing? So this, we provide four kind of education, four tracks of education: mental, vital, physical, and spiritual. That is represented by four inner petals. We use 12 core values to develop in a student, to make them successful. Then we have this two triangle, one is going up. So we are saying that we are giving a student come seeking for knowledge, we are giving them, so they are aspiring to get the knowledge. And the faculty and the research and all that we do at the university also helps students to bring down the knowledge to them at their level. And I'm not talking about here spiritual knowledge and force. We're talking about just simple technical skill knowledge that we have to provide. And hopefully that will resonate. So our biggest challenge here is that how do you embed all these core values, all this integral approach to education into anything we do within classroom or outside of classroom. And then let's talk about the corporately, how would I see this thing? This is where I look at this thing to create an institution that has longevity, that has sustainability, and that has effective mission manifesting for the very purpose on which it is founded. So, this is, we serve 4 stakeholders as a university. One stakeholder we serve is student, which you already see how we would like them to, self-discovery, self-mastery. We serve faculty, which you saw that we want them to be mentor, guide, and we provide them opportunity to increase their knowledge through research and interface with the industry. We want parents. We are serving parents. And what parents? All parents looking for values in their children, that they should be successful in life. So, we are serving parents. And we are serving industry and community through providing technical and skill that they need to be productive in any organization. And of course, any organization wants to grow, reach to the higher level, and that a higher aspiration gets answered, and it comes down to manifest. Cosmically, this has also very significance. So, we have 4 aspects of Shakti: Mahalakshmi, Maheshwari, Mahakali, and Mahasaraswati. So, 4 petals represent 4 Shaktis, which is managing the affairs of this universe. And of course, from lower consciousness to higher consciousness, and higher consciousness wants to descend into lower. And in the process, what will happen? Transformation will be inset, and it will happen. So, at the end of the day, what we are trying to see, the outcome of all these efforts, all we are trying to do is to enlighten and bring light into and through university mission. And that is represented by white and golden yellow. So, this is a living symbol of our vision, mission, and core values. So, I would like to also let you know that our tagline at the university is learner to leader. We want learner to become leader. And learner could be student, faculty, we, whoever, doesn't matter. Because campus is very open. So, we have 3 learning principles. To accomplish our mission, we have 3 learning principles that we would like to spend. By the way, we have only 2 subjects per day that we teach to the student, 2 hours each. We do not have every 45 minutes different subjects. There is only 2 subjects per day. So, it provides intensity, it provides little dialogue with the student and faculty, it provides little debate, interaction. So, we would like to say that 20% listening, 30% seeing, and 50% doing. And this is where the most action happens, because we are also mission of experiential learning at the university. And that is how you bridge the gap between classroom and reality. So, we have School of Business, MBA, Bachelor, School of Law, maybe LLB 5 years integrated project, School of Hospitality, BSc in Hospitality, 4-year, 1 year complete in the field experience, School of Information Technology. So, these are 4 schools right now at works. We have 830 students, 825 students at the university, and we are 6th year in running. We have proposed new schools, School of Design, School of Humanities and Social Science, the Oro Integral School on campus in the future. We will have also Oro schools. We are also creating a standalone Sri Aurobindo Integral Yoga Center, where we will have in-depth study of Sri Aurobindo's works, mother's works, where we will hopefully to give PhDs. So we want this center to be the beacon of knowledge that everybody is now need and hopefully will use it to the best. So this is, by the way, this is designed by one of our Aurovilians. It's already going to start construction in next 30 to 60 days. It's designed by Mona Doctor from here, and it will have a feel of like you have a Mathruman is the soul of Auroville. We are trying to create soul of campus through this center. It will have study room, it will have library, it will have meditation, all that is coming. So we have different clubs, and through these clubs in society we impart activities, because today's youth wants to learn through activities. And this is where we give them opportunity to learn through clubs and societies. Cultural activities we have, so again vital education comes through that. Inter-university and college competition tournaments, so they know where they stand. So these are different clubs. So this gives you some idea. It's a wide variety of clubs. The student can decide where they want to do depending on their interests and aptitude. And we have people who helps them facilitate their activity. These are all student-driven activities. These are some photographs that give you some idea about what we have done. It's a school we adopted right behind, because we want to be having students be sensitive to the needs of people. Again, part of that goodness and generosity is values. So all these 12 core values, we are trying to have them experience through these activities. We give financial aid, merit scholarship, academic, and also financial thing. So we are private university. We don't take any donation. With Mother's grace, we have built this university without single rupee donation from anybody. This is our family contribution. So this gives you some idea about what we do. These are different activities that we do. You can see that it's vibrant campus, small but very vibrant, connected. You can see that that's Arnav Chaudhary. We have quite a few Aurovilians has visited the Auro campus and have helped us introduce Auroville to the student, to the faculty, interacted since last 2 years. We have already more than 300 students already graduated from the university. So these are some, we also try to globalize this university. So we have a lot of speakers from overseas to be in front of the student and class, so that they have a different perspective of what is happening behind their classroom and their immediate neighborhood that they live in. So we want to expand their horizon to know more than what they know. And you can see this is Lalit. He's been there already twice. That's Manoj. Mike? Yeah. So different activities. Fortunately, we have provided from day one all the facilities that you see before we had the first student. So again, when you walk in the university campus, you feel like you are in a different environment. and that is because mother has brought the vibration there. We have very good, robust labs for hospitality students, cultural activities, sports. We have very big sports, indoor, outdoor. Between the classes, we don't want students to just run around. They can interact with each other, spend time with each other. These are some industry interface that we had. Our student goes to industry to have a first-hand understanding of how the corporate world works. By the way, we have a guest house here. It's called La Grace, just outside of Oroville, near Rajeshwari College. And we bought it to have a place where our student and faculty can come and experience Oroville, ashram, so that they will have opportunity to meet and listen to the people of how this integral approach, collective life works and breathe in the environment. So you won't believe, but we bought that in February of last year. And by March end, within 60 days, we have 140 students already came to Oroville. And some of Orovillians fortunately gave a little their time to be in front of them, interacted. In fact, we have one student here. See here? Yeah, she is also Oro student here. She is here since last 4 weeks. Yeah. She is part of Swadharma program that. We also have a hotel in the campus that we will be opening. It will be Marriott Courtyard, which will be a lab for our hospitality student to learn how to run a hotel business. So we have these different, these are future projects that we are already working, which will be under construction. A student activity center, standalone, where we have indoor games, cafeteria, a place where student can come after hours and study, work projects in an informal setting with some facility for them. We also take our student overseas. We call it Global Exposure Tour, and they go and spend 3 weeks in a campus at UMass, Massachusetts. They go throughout, and it becomes educational. We don't make it as a touristy thing. Part of it is touristy, but the purpose is education. So if they are at Disney, they need to know how you can express beauty and still manage thousands and hundreds of thousands of people going through the entertainment complex called Disney. So we make sure that every opportunity we get, we introduce them some idea about how this thing, what it represents. The hospitality student also goes at 6 months in America for internship, and it's a paid internship. They work in a hotel. And they have been to France, New Zealand, Malaysia, different countries they go. This is, again, bringing down the reality, the global understanding, how we do experiential immersion. And also help them understand what they can bring with them, that knowledge, and help their business and be part of this country's growth. Most importantly, we want them to be responsible. So our student, though, goes and work, after in 6 months, they get totally transformed, and they feel confident, they feel responsible, accountable, they see big change in themselves. So the whole idea is learning by doing. So we are also working on integral learning center, which will be the source of for the student, faculty, and community aspiring for an integral way of living. So this is where Vladimir and his team will be working very closely with Aurovillians, Ashramites, and people who are devotees and also understand what we are trying to do at the university, get their input, their experience, their background to help university. So these are different, this is under development right now, and there will be more action, tactical approach that we will be taking. These are different things we have done. Most important thing for you to know is that how we are doing this value-based education. Of course, it's embedded throughout the, what we're trying to do as best as we can, because we are also a lab. Our university is a lab. We don't know the roadmap. We know the destination, but we don't know how to go there yet. We are finding our way to go there. So we have 2 compulsory subjects in a university curriculum. Without those 2 subjects, you cannot get the degree at the university. One is called Science of Living, another is called Foundation of Indian Culture. So in the foundation, Science of Living, we introduce students to the 12 core values. And that's where we bring them the understanding of what it stands for, why it is important in their life, and how it is helpful to even make money. Because today's humanity is only looking that, so we have to get their interest and then help to change that. There is more than just the money. And this is a complete presentation. Thank you for your patience. So I like you to give us some ideas based on this background, this presentation, anything that you feel, and I invite all of you to whatever your path takes to visit our campus, feel, touch. Also, any way you can help, I would like you to give your name, phone number, email, so that we can connect with you and also help, get your help. Because remember, this is not one man's job. This is a collective efforts that we all have to do. One of the things that I'm disheartened, and I would like to be very frank about it, that people who know this are in not coming out to help people like us. So I would like to challenge all of you that if you know this thing, you need to help, so that this becomes a stage for your mission, Mother's mission, and Sri Aurobindo's mission. And this is how we can all collectively come up. Our university is just a stage. Anybody can come and act on it. Anybody can contribute. Anybody, and the most important, the people who knows needs to be involved. And there may be, you may be talking to people who are close-minded, so we have to open their doors. When you are ignorant, you don't accept anything. But when you have enlightenment, you start accepting things. So that's another job. And that's, many times I get frustrated because you don't find the right faculty, students are not open. The biggest challenge we have at the university, and where you can help a little bit, even a lot, is that our students that we get, they are age of 18-year-old. By the time they are already programmed by the educational system, parenting, social conditioning. So we have to debrief them first and then brief them to the new way of looking at the education, add to their a different dimension of learning. So this is where our challenge is, that how do you make a 18-year-old to say this makes sense for rest of your life. Because he is looking how do I get my degree, how do I make my money, and that's it. It's so bad that now I see interaction with students, and there are always exceptions. The best part is that we see a big change in them after 2 years, 3 years, and that gives us hope that what we are doing is making little difference in their life.
Wonderful.
And this gets validated by their parents, because I get a feedback, because you cannot improve the system unless you get critical review. So we are getting a feedback from parents, students, what is working, what is not working, and we try to improve it. Again, trying to be premier university, right? And you cannot be premier unless you constantly improve yourself. So this is where our challenge is, this is where we need help, this is where the opportunity is for you all to help us make it big. We want this university to be beacon. Dynamo. Thank you.
First off, I'd like to thank you and congratulate you for this beautiful aspiration and for the profound achievement that you've made so far. I was very touched to hear more about your work. Thank you. I have a couple of thoughts when I hear words like transformative learning and development of skills and things like this. My ears start to tingle a little bit. These are concepts that are exciting for me. I think that I really latched on to your interest in moving beyond knowledge and insights towards applicable and relevant skills that can help people to make a real impact in the world with which they must contend. And I think this is a really key development for the university in a world where there's more democratic access to knowledge. In the past, universities were repositories of knowledge. Now, the internet's a repository of knowledge. So being able to actually use it is far more valuable. I think that the verities of the mother that you pointed to as core values, I think there's a good evidentiary argument around how those emanations correlate with key leadership competencies. And, you see this in the work of people like Anderson and Adams and a number of other people who've pulled together a lot of research around leadership competency. One thing that I didn't hear very much of in your presentation, obviously you had a very limited amount of time to do all of that, but which I'm curious about is I heard quite a lot about the kind of content which is important to you. I didn't hear very much about the sort of pedagogical principles which underpin that. For me, this is a big part of Sri Aurobindo and the Mother's work, and a big part of where I think a lot of universities fall down. And when I hear you talking about transformative learning, obviously there's a very rich discourse around transformative learning and transformative leadership. And then I heard some things like, in your mission statement, something around faculty imparting knowledge and skills, which made me feel a little bit uncomfortable, because there seems to be a sort of idea that faculty are experts who can deliver or impart those things rather than them having a sort of internal locus and rising to the surface, or this idea of moving from learner to leader as if, learner is an earlier state that you move beyond and graduate to being a leader, which may not have been what's intended there, but, I'd like to feel my way into some of those nuances a little bit more, and, perhaps now's not the time to do that, but I just wanted to raise some of those things.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that our biggest challenge is not just student. Student may be a little easier because you accept where they're coming from, but the faculty. The faculty are even more programmed than students. And they are more rigid in their set and their knowledge. And unfortunately, the education system worldwide has created a system where they are not accountable to anything. And therefore, there is no incentive to be improving themselves. or expand their paradigm of knowing and imparting. So this is the biggest challenge. And that also is my, what do you call, challenge at the university, that how do you make people who actually, most important part of university is faculty. So what we are doing is we are having a faculty retreat, faculty workshop, we call it integral workshop. We also want them to be online too, because they are not devotees. They haven't heard Sri Aurobindo yet. They don't know what integral teaching is. So we have to introduce them to that. They have the skill, the academic skill, which normally the student is looking for when they join the university. They have that, but to sift from teaching to helping facilitate learn. And Sri Aurobindo's three is you have to first consult the mind, and nothing could be taught. But they come with the paradigm that everything have to be taught. So that's the first challenge we have. And the student also expect that. So we have a job to do. We are in the process of making that shift. It is happening, but it is taking time on both sides. Figuring out how to bring our troops that goes into classroom to impart that conscious learning versus surface learning. So that is also in the works. But it is a challenge.
Yes.
Sorry.
Thank you. I'm Edwin from Austria. I've been teaching all my life. I don't need a microphone. I've been teaching and have a strong voice. So wonderful, incredible. Rama, nomen est onem, we say in Latin, your name Ra, Re in ancient Egypt means the sun god. So for the students, you are the sun, and the sun gives us love and warmth. And you said you're an accidental educator. Rabindranath Tagore said that the best educators, he had a student age 19. He knew everything and had contact with the students. In Russian, they would call it Chelovek, a human being who has the scent on his forehead. In Japanese, they would call you the spirit within. In Arabic, Persian, Turkish, they would call you friendship and community. It's extraordinary. You know, in Sanskrit, there's no word for to teach. To help some to rise in consciousness. Socrates and Confucius, the greatest teachers on this planet, they did not say, I'm a teacher, I'm a midwife. I help the divine child, you come forward. So you have hundreds, in the future, thousands of children. You mentioned various words, I wrote them down, values, so important. Value in Latin means healthy and strong. Then leaders, all heroes have been leaders, and all heroes have been, in history, connected with the divine. In Arabic, the hero is the pillar. Strong, powerful. Karamanli in Turkish, connected with the divine. And so on. Yes, Shiva Mukta, totally free within. I don't want to to use up your time. I would very much like to come to pass on Chinese culture, Korean culture, Indian culture, Western culture, holistic, for the future. That's the future, right?
Yes.
Knowing how other people think and feel, but just knowing is not enough. We have to love them. In Chinese, where's the lovely lady from China? Love is beautiful. I take my heart and put it into your hands. And for the gentleman in Chinese to love, go slowly. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Just two very concrete questions. Number one, how do you select the students? Who you select? Number two, you're talking about spiritual learning, spiritual education. You don't talk about psychic education. I don't know why you're choosing it because mother speaks
Yeah.
about the spiritual after training. And number three, what are your observations when the students are transformed? Speaking about transformation.
Yeah.
After 2-3 years, you can observe some changes and like some
Sure.
changes. And that was an observation. I can't make it really out, but I haven't seen any kind of educator from our building. Maybe I missed it one. I don't know everybody, but I know all the schools in our building, and none of the teachers are here. I don't know why it is like that. I know. Okay, sure. Okay, okay.
But just for a little bit
Currently, we do not have a criteria to select the student. One of the reasons we are doing this thing is that first of all, we do not have criteria developed sufficient enough to be selective. Second is that as an institution, our job is to uplift whoever we can. So our job is to even transform the one who is not even knowing anything about God even. So that's even bigger challenge. So we are not selective about whether he is a devotee, whether he believes in God, or does he have inclination. What we are looking in a student is sincerity to learn. That's what we're looking. And if that happens, then we have a job, bigger job or smaller job, depending on student receptivity. We will be able to make a difference in their life. Second is that you ask what validates what we're doing. When we ask student and faculty, they say that it changed me. And then we ask, how did it change? So they say, I'm more sincere, I'm more responsible, I'm more confident, I now can speak my mind, I'm free. So those are the values that they didn't think they had it before. Now they think it developed. Now remember, we are only having them for 2 to 5 years, depending on which program they enroll in. So during that time, whatever we can, of course, they also have to struggle, and they are with us only, let's say, 6 hours in a day. 18 hours they are outside of campus. So again, there is a parent buy-in has to happen. But sorry?
You mentioned hostels, they are not residential.
Not all. Okay. Yeah, we have let's say 20% students live in a hostel which are outside of over here. The rest comes day boarders. So that is one, and that's a challenge. But what I feel is that once you start an idea, once you put your sincere efforts, I see the result coming. I'm happy, let's put that way. Because I should be the most unhappy. Because I invested, I'm spending time, and if I don't see a result, I can pack my bag and go. But I see every day the more reinforcement that the mother's work is happening. And that gives, further efforts that we have to make. And I'm not a quitter. So if it's a challenge, I need to figure out how to get it over with. That's all my life I have done. I'm only 5.2, so I have a height problem. I cannot do anything about it. So I have to be pragmatic too. All right? So I'm not looking for miracles. I'm just looking to see if we are making a difference slowly and sustained. That's what we're looking for. Yes. I'm sorry.
Can I? Oh, sorry.
There was one point he meant.
Yeah, he had asked 3 questions.
Yeah, the question, validation. No, validation of how do you get validation that.
That's what I told the parents and faculty. I give you an example. Let me give you a live example. I had a student spend only 1 day with me. And every point I had opportunity, I highlighted him core values. And after 1 day, he tells me, 3 days later, he said that, you know what, I would like to, I'm graduating this year, but I'd like to study 1 more year here on science of living class. Because now it makes a lot of sense to me. But that means I had a feedback that science of living class is not working as best as I would like to have. Second, I had 3 students who volunteered to be part of science of living class simply because when they were in science of living class, they were not paying attention. after they went into the field, they see the value of it. I had ex-student comes and tell us that we wish we would have paid more attention to science of living class. Now we are facing every day this thing in my business, my interaction with people, managing, and now all of a sudden, so what we have done is we have ignited something in them to look for it, and that we feel good, and that's our success validation, so that at least they are now aware that this is lacking, and that's good. That's the first beginning. When they see that I want this thing. Yes.
First, congratulations on trying to find a balance between practicality and instilling the values. My question was actually, do you have a link with the Orwellian education system so that people can flow through? Because as I believe or I understand the Orwell system.
Yeah, I've been talking to.
Like
I've been talking to Shally. I have visited your schools here, and I told them that anybody from Auroville wants to join Oro University, we will figure out how to connect their learning and their level of knowledge, how it connects to our required entry level knowledge at parallel, at same level. So when we can create a special program, I have no problem with it. I'm ready to give any help that they need. We have hostels by any means. As to Auroville, connecting, there is no direct connection. I wish there is a direct connection. But everybody here is so busy in their own work, so we are not priority, and I accept that. But we see that there could be a good cooperation, collaboration that can work for both. Because anything that you do here has to connect to the real world. And when you say Auroville is a human university, how are you going to make it happen? Not just among yourself, but you have to connect to the world outside too. So here is your opportunity to connect to the outside world and help them help you prepare whatever. Orwellian children may not be staying here, they will be also facing world. You don't want fish out of water. You want them to be also adjusting to the real world that they are going to face. We can bring that perspective in front of that student if they are in a classroom in Oro campus. And we want our student to come here and sit, listen, experience, feel, interact with all of you. Because one of the things that they can expand their horizon as a student, that this is the only place where the collective life is happening with different backgrounds, different language, different food habits, different upbringing, different culture, different way of their personal aspiration. And there is no guru here, and there is no hierarchy. How this works? I want our student to learn.
Very good, very good.
Because they are going to face in a structured environment. You have totally unstructured environment if it works here. And I know that many Orwellians complain to me, nothing works here. It's okay. But at least you are all here. If it didn't work, you would leave.
Yes.
So I have more faith in you than you have faith in your own fellow Orwellians. So this is very important to interact. Okay? Yes.
Can I say something in between? Sorry. Okay, thanks. My name is Werner, and I've been interested in working for your university. And I actually offered. What's the name of the pro vice chancellor? Shailendra. So I had a conversation with him on Zoom a couple of months ago or something, mediated by Vladimir, and he said that the development or the formation of the the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences is still far away, and I'm sort of ahead of you guys. So can you tell me or us a little bit more what sort of the aim is, what will be taught at this new faculty, the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, and when it's going to happen? So I'm certainly interested
If you join, it will happen fast.
Good. Oh, that's good. I'm happy to join sooner than later.
So let's not wait. You know, I didn't wait to learn about education. I just started education. When people say, oh, we need to have this department started after we have a person. I said, if that was the case, you would not be standing right in front of me. So I didn't start this university thinking who will be running it, who will be teaching, who will be my student. You just start the journey, and so I want you to be part of it and start, no problem. We want it. No university exists unless they have School of Arts and Humanity and Behavioral Science, even social science. It's very important, and that is where transformative learning will come more even effectively, because through those schools, we can even enhance what we're trying to do about integral approach to education, which is not existent right now at the campus. Maybe that is why we are struggling a little bit. So we need to do that. Nothing stops us starting anything. I have committed financially to do that. So that is not the issue. We have infrastructure to house it. So we have nothing stopping us. We are ahead of schedule when it comes to infrastructure. So that's not an issue. So we want this thing happening, because to me, through that, we can really bring the change. Through that, we can really bring the transformation. Because nowadays, all professional schools are introducing arts, humanities, social science. Why? Because they now realize that technical knowledge is not enough to manage people, to manage the affairs, to manage the consumer, to manage the society. They need psychology, they need social science, they need history, they need languages. So all that is required.
In Australia, where I work, we actually abandoning the social sciences and the healing sciences in favor of industry connections.
Well, that's...
It's great to see that in this country, it's actually really moving.
It's coming, they don't have a choice. I'm telling you, if you ask any CEO, they are not looking for technical expertise nowadays. They are looking for people side of a manager. How they're going to interact, how they're going to motivate, how they're going to encourage, how they're going to help people come up, training, all that. It's very vital.
First of all, I want to thank you, Ramaji. I was spending a lot of time at Swaraj University, and Manish Jain said, let's go and see what Ramaji is up to. And I spent only a day in Surat at Aura University, and I wanted to answer some of the things I noticed. Unlike other schools in India, I saw these students very confident. Nobody was trying to hide from Rama, sir, trying to pretend. A lot of students get intimidated with faculty, especially the chancellor of the university. They were everybody, including somebody who was cleaning the bathrooms to gardening to the students and faculty, had a very collaborative, like, hello, Rama, sir, and what's happening? Big smile. There was no fear or intimidation. That is a big shift. I haven't seen that even at my alma mater, IIT Bombay. So I really thank you for that. So one of the first lessons I learned is this is a learning environment, not a teaching environment. So much as you were saying, sometimes we use the word teaching because that's what India is addicted to, unfortunately. But it's a real learning environment. And I already committed, I'm already spending a lot of time at Swaraj, but I live 2 hours away from Surat. So I'm committing 1 week of seva from my side. I want to learn all about hospitality and cooking and all that. So I'll be there, and I'll also teach whatever I can, from the neuroscience of happiness to technical stuff. I was too much of a geek at one time, and I had to unlearn all that. So it's good to share that experience. And in fact, I've been explaining what's happening at Oro University to people, and people want to come. 3 people who are visiting are already here. Here's an organic farmer I haven't yet met. Here's an engineer turned educator, or more of a learning journey person. And here's a student. So they just showed up today, and I explained to them only like 2 days ago what's happening. So you can see there is a real thirst for it. There's a real thirst for co-creating these environments. And I think you're doing great. Manish was insistent, oh, but they're teaching. They should stop teaching. I said, in steps, because we're used to a hierarchical system here. We cannot completely abandon that overnight. That will be very disruptive for people, but I think it's happening in a very harmonious way. And I want to be a part of that harmony, where I learn a lot of things that are missing in my life. My wife has been trying to make me cook for 28 years, and not very successfully, so I want to learn that. And in the process, we learn from each other. So thank you again.
Can you share with your background, please?
Your
education background,
yeah.
your
I grew up in the Charles of Bombay. I really had this desire to get out of poverty, and I ended up at IIT when I was 16 in the 80s. And after engineering, I went to Stanford, and I continued studying management and stuff like that. But at some point, the money was not helping me get any better, any happier, anything else. There was a lot of money piled up, but I was as miserable as ever. So I started learning about myself and various places. I've never been to, this is my first time in Auroville, but I spent a lot of time at the Chinmaya Mission and the Vipassana circles, become a daily meditator. That's when I was exposed to Aurobindo's teachings, among other things. And basically, I realized the importance of a holistic way of life. And as many of you have pointed out, it cannot be taught, but it can be learned. And so I've been a part of many movements, including at Stanford. We have a Center for Compassion and Altruism, started by the head of neuroscience and neurosurgery, along with the Dalai Lama. So, and by the way, a lot of people in the West will acknowledge the importance of what they've learned from the East, and vice versa. So we need to get rid of these artificial barriers, East, West, English, Sanskrit. They're all coming from the same humanity, and I'm really appreciative. I've been spending now several months in India, visiting different centers, and I have to be honest, I was very impressed that one day I spent at Oro University, as much as I was impressed with Manish's work at Swaraj and Shikshantar. And I think the time has come to create these, incubate these. And one of the things I committed to Ramaji is that I want to bring people from other schools, like IITs and IIMs, to be a part of this movement, where we realize that it's not, you can learn much more with each other rather than, top down. And people are open. Faculty members at IIT are willing to come and visit, by the way, because they're realizing that what they're doing is not working as well. They want to be a part of this kind of a journey.
Well, I take you up on that you have volunteered in front of everybody. So all of you are witness. So.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever had an opportunity to have either an ashram student or an Olympic student joining your college and witness this journey?
No. No. We don't have, and I love to have it.
Because I would, this is a question following what he asked. When you're trying to standardize something and you have a product who comes to you at 19, which just requires the unlearning process, and somebody who has gone through the teachings and he comes to you, would there be a difference? The validation be very different.
Yeah, and that is what I would like to have. I want those students to come and create vibration, be representative of what you all taught them. So when people see things and they feel different, everybody resonate and follow them. So I love to have them. It is not how student from here fit in it. You have to also understand that we have to be pragmatic as to that free progress system is very important, but we need to redefine that free progress system in today's context, what the mass is looking for, okay? And that is the challenge. To me, all of us sitting here, why we cannot devise a system that integrates what is current, help it transform from inside, and create a new model, all right? Because it's very easy for Swaraj University to teach 20 students self-learning, but it's when it comes to 800 students, it is not that easy. And that's where you require a little process and systems. That doesn't mean you are giving up your system. So it's like this. You want to know about divine. Well, sit in a cave, and why you are doing here anything? Sit in a cave. We are born to work. Now let's redefine the work. Let's redefine the work. Let's figure out how to do these things. So there is expectation. So let's also, we are at the kindergarten, let's put that. At the Oro University, we are at the kindergarten. And everybody that advises me, they're talking PhD. In their philosophy, in their understanding, and what we should be doing. Let's get real. I was not grown overnight that I'm 68 today. It took 68 years to grow what I am today. So there is a progressive evolution that needs to happen in education also. So we are at the beginning.
No, the question was regarding the conditioning.
Conditioning, that whatever your conditioning is, hopefully that will help them, the other student, and they will adjust. Listen, conditioning is not, it's individual choice. Question is, are we creating environment where conditioning doesn't happen except inner aspiration? That's what we need to do. We need to have an inner aspiration that resonates with that person's inner aspiration. All right? It has nothing to do with conditioning. You can say anything is conditioned. You are at 12 o'clock, you are conditioned. You have to be there at the lunch hour at the solar kitchen. You are conditioned. Whole life is conditioned. So why it should be different in one aspect and other aspect is not conditioned? What we have to do is when you are sitting as solar Christian, how we are eating that thing with inner consciousness, offering to the divine. That is to me is substance. All right? So that's what we need to do. Yes?
So you might want to mention a small example which would probably give your answer. It's actually for him. Earth Fest. If you want, if you allow, I can speak about it a little and possibly answer a few questions which have been raised here. Sorry. Sure. Those of you who haven't...
By the way,
who
Abhik is a
weren't here-
part of Oro University, and he is a brother of Partho. You know Partho, right? His brother. Younger brother.
brother.
He joined the Oro University about a few months ago.
September last year.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd just like to mention something. Being a mother's devotee from a very early age, I could sense a feeling of possessiveness and a sense of trying to hold mother's teachings to oneself as and getting insecure about anybody else speaking about it. And to be extremely honest and candid in front of you, sir, when I first stepped into Oro University, I was kind of disappointed because I could not see what I would probably see at Auroville or Shri Aurobindo Ashram, Delhi and Pondicherry both. But as few months passed by, I witnessed this activity. We had a huge fest, the student fest, which we called Earth Fest. And let me tell you that I witnessed qualities, core values like sincerity, humility, perseverance, besides a few others, happening on its own in the students because they were left on their own to do things. We don't condition anyone. We don't even speak about Sri Aurobindo and Mother. We don't even mention their name. It's all over on the walls. I understand that. It's all over the TV. It keeps flashing the quotes, unquotes of Sri Aurobindo and Mother. But it's only there to be seen by somebody who wants to see it. For somebody who would want to stop there and probably view a few of them. I am one of them. I do that. But what I figured was you don't have to be insecure about Mother's teachings. You don't have to be possessive about it. You just have to somehow create an enabling environment and then leave. And then just simply offer it. And that is exactly what happened at Earthfest. I could see students being so humble when they went out for sponsorships. They were so humble to the sponsors, to the promoters. They were so, they exemplified perseverance. They went on, kept on, till somebody bent and said, okay, we will give you the sponsorship. And it happened. It was a huge success, ladies and gentlemen. It was a huge success. And I think most of the core values that we kind of advocate at Oro University was exemplified on its own. Nobody, none of us, I mean, none of the faculty members, none of the management board members, none of us went and helped them. None of us went and told them, you know, you should be patient, you should be sincere, you should be humble. We did not. We just left them to do what they had to do. And they did a wonderful job out of it. So that, I think, partly answers your question, the validation. Well, we are not here to profess about Sri Aurobindo and Mother. We are only here to somehow facilitate a progress in their work and the divine's work on earth. We just somehow are facilitating it. And with Sri Aurobindo Ashram Pondicherry, Sri Aurobindo Ashram Delhi, Auroville, and all devotees across the world, with your support, we'll be able to obviously take this ahead. Right, sir?
Yes.
And that is the only endeavor that we want to embark upon. That's it. Thank you. Thank you.
What time? Anybody has any questions? Or?
Four level of education, so there's no psychic being on educating.
Yeah,
so that was his question.
Yeah. I understand. So let's say we deliberately did not use word psychic because in outside word, psychic has a very narrow, shallow meaning. It's like you go to a psychic reader to see your life. All right? So we are dealing with people who has no understanding of what psychic being is. So we use word spiritual because everybody understands spiritual. Now, in understanding of devotees of Sri Aurobindo, there is a big difference. Spiritual is different than psychic is different. But that we'll leave it to the world, because to me, spiritual includes psychic anyway, so it doesn't matter. All right, we don't want to limit it.
By the way, even spiritual, we want to phase out and just use inner being, because even spiritual makes people think, oh, are you going to do? Are you going to make, like he says, sadhu out of us? So the latest thing is that maybe spiritual is also a little bit in just inner being, because it's easy to understand that there's an inner being and an outer being.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't like mics. Okay. My name is Martha. I live here since 2003. I come from a business background and I'm an educator. I studied to be one, and I did it very little. Now I'm getting back to the concept of education, and I'm questioning a lot what is going on in Orville, what the school are offering to the children, how the children are evolving, etc. Now I have one extremely practical question. Please excuse it if it is too direct, but it is what kind of fee your students require to pay, because that would give me some parameter of the level of the students that you are talking to.
Sure.
Okay, we go with the first. I have 3. So we'll go one by one.
Very quickly, we are private university, self-funded. So for BBA, bachelor degree, we have 2,50,000 per year fee. For hospitality student, it is 2.75. For MBA, 3.25. For IT, it is 1.25. And BBA, law is also same thing, 1.25. So that's our fee structure right now. Student who cannot afford, we have 2 kind of scholarship. One is meritorial scholarship. So if you have certain excellence in academic criteria, they automatically get scholarship, because we want also people who are serious and excelling, so that other student can uplift in the classroom their level also. And then we have financial aid, student who cannot afford but also deserving to be at Oro, we give them full scholarship. So that's that answer. I hope that answered your question.
Yes, the time is, we already 20 minutes over time, which is very fine. But there will be a tea break. Maybe in tea break we can discuss these questions more in a more easy way. And we will reassemble in 20 minutes. I thank you very much for your beautiful presentation. I'm very happy to see it happen here in Auroville. I was hoping this will happen, and it happened.
Thank you.
So,
thank you very much.
Maybe just there's 3-4 more Oro University friends here, in case you want to also have questions to them. So because Mr. Ramaji may be very busy when everybody was talking. So there's Lakshmi, yes, that you know her, that you also in the course of these school days. And Abik you saw already. Vijeta, this is our star too, and we have student too. I think we have one more, no, from our university.